accolades, all except one guy. Lobo guard Philip McDonald was slated to be the Freshman of the Year. Is he good enough to maybe move the Lobos up from that 5th place slot?
Well, I don't know if Philip is good enough. I know the other players returning are good enough. You talk about Daniel Ferris, one of the most improved players in the conference, 6'10". We know about Toppert and his long-range shooting. Don't forget Martinez can really play. He's an inside-outside guy, terrific passer. And don't forget, they had a freshman starting point guard last year in Gary, Indiana. This guy can be one of the premier players in the conference.
I really believe that Darius Gary will be the leadership piece that comes into play. He was a football player as well in high school, very aggressive, great charisma on the court, so he's going to be key. And Marius, I agree, Philip McDonald is a special player. The Mountain West Conference is in for a treat when you get to see him play.
Well, speaking of McDonald, he leads the cast of new guys joining Steve Alford's program. And if you ask the coach, he feels there's a pretty nice balance between the returners and the new faces.
We got a lot of new guys. That's what's going to be fun. It's scary, but fun. We got 6 freshmen. We got 6 returning players. 4 of them are starters, but 6 freshmen as well. So that's a unique blend. You usually don't have recruiting classes that are that big, and that's a big recruiting class. So just how all that blends together, you know, the next month is going to be huge, and just how we can blend all that together. But I'm really excited about the future. It's a talented freshman group, and I really like our vets. I think our vets have a chance to have big years.
Well, here are the guys the coach is talking about. They have 6 new additions, and it looks like Coach Alford is going for more of that tweener player, not too big, not too small, but can probably jump out of the gym. Would that be a fair recruiting assessment of these guys?
Absolutely. If you look at the sizes, you know, the 6'5", 6'6" players, you're getting quality wing players that can develop. He's very happy about the fact that they made some inroads in Texas. And the other thing that you look for in college basketball now is if you have a 7-foot player that has the skills to help you succeed, he's not going to be with you long. So maybe he's looking long term.
Now, the Lobos have 6 freshmen and 1 redshirt freshman. They are a very young team. How long will it take for some of these guys to learn the system and become productive?
Well, they don't have to count on them to be primetime players right away, because when you talk about the returning players, these guys were in a lot of wars last year. They played a lot of minutes. You have a senior leadership. I mean, Ferris and Toppert right there from Albuquerque. Don't forget about the key guy, Tony D, who can really do it. So you have, as Coach Alford mentioned, a really nice blend. And will any of these newcomers start? It doesn't matter. They will get playing time. Coach will incorporate them into playing time. But when you look at a guy like Gary, who played a lot of minutes, started as a freshman, he's a primetime player. You have Tony D coming back. So they have more than 4 starters, as I mentioned. Willis started some games last year, Jonathan Willis. So they've got like 7 starters. New Mexico is...
That's why they're going to be in the top 25.
That's why they're going to be in the top 25. We're going to have 5 teams in the top 25 in the Mountain West Conference.
Time for a quick break on the show. And when we return, we'll talk about some of the returning players on Steve Alford's roster, including the return of Tony Danridge. And the Lobos were deadly from behind the arc last season. We'll chat with one of the guys who had the range from the 3-point line.
Our defense is way behind our offense. We got a lot of guys that can shoot it. You can see that in the 3-point contest. So very similar to last year. We got 8, 9 guys that can shoot the 3. So there'll be a heavy emphasis on our team defense in the next month.
The Lobos are all about defense. Check out the numbers from last year. 2nd in turnover margin as well as assist to turnover ratio. Scoring defense was 3rd, and these numbers will hopefully get better as some of the returners know the importance of defense in a Steve Alford system. Welcome back to the show, and let's talk about some of the guys returning in Albuquerque. And the biggest gain has to be the return of Tony Danridge. What does he bring to the table for Steve Alford?
Well, I don't think you replace J.R. Giddens. I don't think that happens. He's just too talented and does too many things. However, Tony Danridge has the skill set and the experience where he could step in more quickly than a junior college transfer, certainly a freshman, and contribute, show leadership. He's been on the road at these places. He knows how to have success, so I think that's a key piece.
Tony D was a preseason all-conference performer. I mean, this guy, he's had a terrific career. He had the injury last year. He got a chance to sit back. The word is he's 100%. He's increased his shooting range because he's a little undersized 3-man, but he's very athletic. I mean, you talk about slam bam. This guy can elevate and can dunk a lot like JR. He can win a dunk contest. It's depending on how well he converts outside with the passing game and the shooting ability, and I think he will.
Well, how about Chad Topper? This guy can keep opposing teams from closing in on Dandridge. Topper can light it up from the outside.
Oh, yeah. He's a quick release guy. And, again, kind of like, you know, any players that are 6'6", 6'7", that can shoot from the perimeter. They have the ability to get their shot off. It's a quick release. The fans love it. It energizes the crowd. And then when you have the guards penetrating, it gets you open looks. The ability to stretch the defense when you have an inside presence, that's key to their success.
I love to call it. He cranks it back. He gets it way back here. So it's hard to block, and he's got good size already. So he can get that three-pointer off. He's a terrific shooter. He is. They have the inside-outside game. But you saw Coach Alford's comments. They may not bring out the balls for the next couple of weeks. They're going to work on their defense.
How about Daniel Ferris? This guy's gutsy. What do you like about his game, and what improvements are you hoping to see out of him?
Well, I was incredibly impressed with him last year. I thought he was the most improved player in the league because he came out of nowhere, contributed at a high level to a successful team. Skill set inside, excellent, ability to score, and now maybe he's got even more confidence. He's shown that he can do it. His skill level went up, his aggressiveness went up, and then the other key thing is his teammates believed in him, so they started throwing the ball more.
Great footwork. You can tell he's been well coached. But here's a guy that you know he got in that weight room. He got bigger. He got stronger. He already has good footwork. And as we said early on, most improved player in the league. He's going to have a really good year for him.
Well, we mentioned Chad Toppert earlier, and this kid can just